Hi, it's Diana with Friday Feathered Facts, and this is a fun one because we're talking about turkey vultures. Now, whenever I say that, people go, oh, yuck, ooh, Okay, but we got to tell you what these guys do for our environment. I mean, we would be in bad shape without them. Now, first of all, turkey vultures, by human standards, are not very attractive. And one reason for that is that they don't have a lot of feathers on their head. That's a cleanliness thing because they stick their heads inside dead carcasses. And if they had feathers on their heads, they'd come out caked with yuck and bacteria and gross things. So they have naked heads, which make them unattractive to us. But look at this, you can see his ear because it's not covered with feathers. That's what a bird's ear looks like, for heaven's sakes. You can see through their nose to the other side. Now, their sense of smell is phenomenal. They can smell rotting meat miles away. So that's how they find it, which is also why they're not here in Montana this time of year. Because when the temperatures freeze, meat doesn't decay anymore, let alone smell. So they got to go where it doesn't get so cold, okay? Now, I was wondering what in the world is a group of turkey vultures called? Well, I found there's a whole bunch of names. They are a committee when they're just gathering. When they're flying around up there smelling for prey, they are a kettle. And when they're eating on the ground, they're awake, which I think is kind of appropriate because there's a dead body there. Okay, so they're also picky about their food. Now, the first 24 hours it doesn't smell, so they can't find it. Day 2 and day 3, oh yeah, that's their favorite. Day 4, it's getting a little bit ripe and they're not interested anymore. Now, there is a myth that turkey vultures can sense when something is dying and will gather and wait around for their opportunity. That's not true. They can't do that. They can only find dead carrion by smell. Okay? Now, when a turkey vulture is startled, it vomits. And if it's frightened by prey or by a predator, it can vomit a distance of 10 feet. Talk about projectile vomiting. Now, you don't want that to happen to you because their stomach acid is so strong, it burns. It burns if it touches your flesh. It also destroys bacteria. So things like brucellosis, tuberculosis, pneumonia, rabies, it can eat an infected carcass and that's gone. There are a couple of things that the stomach acid doesn't get rid of, and that's viruses, like the avian flu, and lead. So if it comes upon a gut pile where a hunter has shot its game with lead bullets, that could bother the turkey vulture. So those are two things that are affecting their mortality rate, and we haven't seen as many of them in Montana the last year or two as we used to previously, okay? Now, these guys are incredibly important to our environment, as I had said, because they are the major cleanup crew and they do a phenomenal job. Now, towards the end of this last summer, we had a turkey vulture come in for rehab. He was a youngster. His head wasn't red yet. It was still black, and so that's how we know he was a youngster, okay? He was suffering from soft tissue damage, may have been hit by a car, hard to tell what happened to him. But the treatment for that is just rest. So while he was recuperating, the rest of the turkey vultures left town. They migrated. So we couldn't release him because he's a youngster and everybody else is gone. So he's with us over the winter. He's out in our flight barn. He has settled in. He's doing just fine. And it's been a very mild December, so he's doing okay out there. When it gets colder in January and February, as it usually does, we'll move him into a smaller environment with a heat lamp. We wanted to do this out there in the flight barn with him so you could see him, but it was decided that that would be a little too stressful for the birds. So his needs come first. So we're doing it without a live prop. But we have something else to show you, something else turkey vultures do when they gather. You may see them sitting in an old tree snag or on fence posts with their wings spread out. The reason for that is that they're letting the sunlight kill the bacteria and any mites they might have picked up, so it's a cleansing thing. Now in midsummer, when it's very, very hot, you see those legs there typically are red. A thing that they do to cool themselves off so they don't overheat is that they poop on their legs and it turns them white, so that then reflects the sunlight. So that's another one of those yuck factors that people think is pretty gross, but it's an adaptation that these birds have made so they can survive and continue to clean up our crew, okay? Now, when our little resident turkey vultures committee comes back, we will release him probably in early summer. So, thanks for visiting, people. Let's show a little respect to the world's cleanup crew. Thanks.